When we think of a Colombian cartel, the Medellin Cartel is usually the first to come to mind. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria is undoubtedly the reason for this. His name became synonymous with violence, excess, and terror, a figure so powerful that he shaped how the world understands organized crime. However, during the 1980s, there was another cartel just as influential as Medellin, quieter, more calculated, and in many ways just as dangerous: the Cali Cartel. Together, these two organizations transformed cocaine from a profitable drug into something far more destructive, a weapon of mass influence. They reshaped cities, they challenged governments, and they turned Colombia into the center of a global drug war. This was an era where criminals became billionaires, where bombs exploded in city centers, and where entire governments were pushed to the brink of collapse. This is the rise and fall of the 1980s Colombian drug cartels, the Medellin Cartel, the Cali Cartel, and the rivalry that tormented Colombia for over a decade. In the late 1970s, cocaine demand in the United States exploded. It was expensive, it was fashionable, and it was everywhere. Colombia, with its geography, weak institutions, and widespread poverty, became the perfect center of production and transport. Suddenly, a single kilo of cocaine could be produced for a few $1,000s and sold in the United States for tens of thousands more. This wasn't just crime anymore, this was an industry, and those who controlled it would soon control entire cities. Out of this chaos rose the Medellin Cartel. At its center stood Pablo Escobar. Escobar wasn't just a drug trafficker, he was a symbol. He built schools, he funded housing projects, he presented himself as a man of the people. But behind the image was brutal reality. The Medellin Cartel ruled through fear. Their philosophy was simple: plata o plomo, silver or lead. Take the bribe or take the bullet. Police officers, judges, politicians, journalists, no one was untouchable. Bombings became common. Assassinations became routine. Entire neighborhoods learned to live with explosions in the distance. The Medellin Cartel wasn't trying to hide, it wanted to be seen. By the mid-1980s, Medellin was living in a constant state of fear. Car bombs exploded in shopping centers, government buildings were destroyed, commercial flights were targeted. The cartel's message was clear: if the state fought back, civilians would pay the price. This wasn't just organized crime, this was terrorism. Colombia's streets became battlefields, and ordinary people were trapped in the middle. Mothers waited for children who never came home. Police officers kissed their families goodbye, unsure if they would return. Fear became part of daily life. While Medellin ruled through chaos, another cartel chose a different path: the Cali Cartel. Led by Gilberto and Miguel Rodriguez Orejuela, Cali rejected Escobar's strategy of violence. They believed terror was bad for business. Instead of bullets, they used bribes. Instead of bombs, they used influence. They infiltrated banks. They corrupted politicians. They bought protection, rather than forcing it. If Medellin was loud and reckless, Cali was quiet and calculated. Many didn't even realize Cali was in control, and that was exactly the point. The rivalry between Medellin and Cali was inevitable. Both wanted control over routes, markets, and power. But this war wasn't always fought in the streets. It was fought through informants, through betrayals, through manipulation of the state itself. At times, the Cali Cartel quietly helped authorities locate Medellin leaders, not out of morality, but strategy. Escobar's chaos threatened everyone, even other criminals. As the cartels fought each other, and the state, civilians suffered the most. Journalists were silenced, judges were murdered, families were displaced. Entire generations grew up knowing nothing but fear. Children learned which streets to avoid, which cars to run from, which sounds meant danger. The drug war didn't just kill people, it traumatized the nation. By the early 1990s, pressure mounted from all sides: the Colombian government, the United States, special police units. Escobar was hunted relentlessly. His empire began to crumble. Allies turned into informants. Safe houses were compromised. The city that once protected him now wanted him gone. In 1993, Pablo Escobar was killed on a rooftop in Medellin. For many, it felt like the end of a nightmare, but the war wasn't over. With Medellin gone, the Cali Cartel briefly dominated. But their quiet strategy couldn't protect them forever. Wiretaps, financial tracking, international cooperation. One by one, Cali's leaders were arrested. No explosions, no public executions, just silent collapses. By the late 1990s, the great cartels of the 1980s were finished, at least in their original form. The fall of Medellín and Cali didn't end drug trafficking, it fragmented it. Smaller groups replaced massive empires, violence became more localized, power became less visible, but no less real. The era of cartel kings was over, but the system they created remained. The 1980s cartel era wasn't just about drugs, it was about power. Power gained through fear, power protected by money, power that challenged governments, and reshaped societies. Colombia survived, but it was forever changed. The lesson is simple: when institutions are weak, when inequality is extreme, and when profit outweighs human life, power doesn't disappear. It finds a way.